The UES Curiosity drifted silently through the Carina Nebula, its sleek hull reflecting the ethereal blues and purples of the surrounding cosmic gases. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood at the bridge's observation window, her dark eyes scanning the star-speckled void ahead. After 15 years of deep space exploration, humanity had yet to encounter intelligent alien life. The Curiosity's mission was to change that. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures at bearing 047, called out Dr. James Chen from his science station. His fingers danced across the holographic display, analyzing the incoming data. "It's unlike anything in our database." Rodriguez turned from the window, a slight smile playing at her lips. "Finally, something interesting." "How far?" "Approximately 2 light hours, Captain." "But there's something else." Chen's voice carried a note of concern. "The energy pattern. It's not random. It's too ordered, too precise." "Artificial?" Rodriguez asked, though she already knew the answer. Her heart rate quickened at the implications. "Without a doubt. And it's massive. Whatever's generating it must be at least twice the size of our largest space station." First Officer Sarah O'Neill spoke up from her command chair. "Could be a trap. We're well outside mapped space." Rodriguez considered this. The Curiosity was primarily a research vessel, equipped with the latest in human technology, but minimal weapons. Their strength lay in their advanced shields and stealth systems, technologies developed from humanity's centuries of warfare before finally unifying under the Earth Alliance. "Helm, set an intercept course, but maintain our distance." "Dr. Chen, full sensor sweep. Let's see what we're dealing with before making contact." Rodriguez returned to the window, watching as the nebula's gases swirled around them, "and activate the quantum resonance cloak. No sense advertising our presence until we're ready." As the Curiosity altered course, the bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency. They'd drilled for first contact scenarios countless times, but this was real. Humanity's first encounter with an alien civilization was potentially minutes away. The tension grew as they approached the energy signature. Through the enhanced viewing screen, they could now make out a massive structure, a space station unlike anything humans had built. Its architecture was organic yet geometric, with sweeping curves that seemed to defy physics. "Multiple ships detected," announced Lieutenant Peddle from Tactical. "They're emerging from behind the station. Computer counts, 17 vessels of varying sizes." Rodriguez leaned forward. "Configuration. Definitely military, Captain. Heavy weapons arrays, reinforced hulls. They're arranged in a defensive formation around the station." Before Rodriguez could respond, Chen called out urgently, "Captain, they're scanning the area with some kind of quantum detection beam. Our cloak won't." The ship shuddered violently as a brilliant energy pulse washed over them. Warning klaxons blared as their cloak failed, leaving them exposed. "They've detected us," O'Neill reported grimly. "All 17 ships are moving to surround us." Rodriguez straightened her uniform, jaw set firmly. This wasn't how she'd hoped first contact would go, but they'd prepared for this possibility. "Open all frequencies, standard greeting package ready. Let's show them humanity comes in peace." The alien ships drew closer, their designs becoming clearer. They resembled massive predatory creatures, all sharp angles and threatening silhouettes. The message was clear. These weren't peaceful explorers. "Message incoming," Patel announced. "Audio and visual. On screen," Rodriguez ordered, bracing herself. The viewing screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made several bridge crew members gasp. The alien commander was humanoid in basic shape, but covered in iridescent scales that shifted colors as it moved. Its eyes were compound, like an insect's, and its mouth was ringed with small tentacles that writhed as it spoke. The universal translator processed its words. "Unknown vessel, you have entered restricted space belonging to the Vrax Imperium. Your primitive attempts at concealment have failed. Prepare to be boarded and analyzed. Resistance will result in immediate destruction." Rodriguez's mind raced. The Curiosity could outrun most of the alien ships. Their fusion drives were state-of-the-art, but not all 17 at once. Fighting was suicide. They needed a third option. This is Captain Maya Rodriguez of the Earth Alliance vessel Curiosity. We are peaceful explorers and apologize for any territorial violation. We request dialogue tow. The alien commander cut her off. Your species is unknown to us. Your technology is interesting. You will be studied. You have 30 seconds to lower your shields before we open fire. Rodriguez locked eyes with O'Neill, who nodded slightly. They had drilled this too. Protocol 17, the last resort when first contact went catastrophically wrong. All hands, Rodriguez announced shipwide, her voice steady despite the circumstances. Prepare for emergency quantum jump. Secure all stations. The alien commander's tentacles writhed faster. What you attempt is impossible. This sector is quantum locked. Your primitive engines cannot. Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. Helm, execute jump. Let's show them what humanity's primitive technology can do. What happened next would become legend in both human and Vrax space. The Curiosity's experimental quantum drive didn't just break through the quantum lock. It shattered it, creating a cascading failure that temporarily disabled the alien fleet's engines. As the human vessel disappeared into quantum space, it left behind 17 powerless warships and a very important lesson. Humanity was not to be underestimated. But this was just the beginning. The Vrax Imperium would not forget this humiliation, and humanity's first contact with alien life had just sparked a conflict that would change the galaxy forever. 4 days after their escape from the Vrax Imperium, the UES Curiosity emerged from quantum space at the edge of the Perseus Arm. The ship's hull bore scorch marks from their desperate escape, but Captain Rodriguez's gamble had paid off. They were alive, and they had invaluable data about humanity's first encounter with alien life. In her ready room, Rodriguez reviewed sensor logs with Dr. Chen and First Officer O'Neill. The holographic display showed detailed scans of the Vrax vessels, their technology, and most importantly, their weaknesses. Their quantum lock technology is impressive, Chen said, manipulating the display to show energy patterns, but it's also their greatest vulnerability. They've become so dependent on it, they never expected anyone to break through. O'Neill leaned forward, studying the data. They underestimated us because we're new to interstellar travel. Classic mistake, assuming technological age equals capability. And now they'll be hunting us. Rodriguez added grimly. We didn't just escape, we embarrassed them. A species that advanced, that arrogant, they won't let that stand. The ship's AI, Araya, chimed in through the room's speakers. Captain, long-range sensors are detecting multiple quantum wake signatures. The Vrax are attempting to track our jump trajectory. Rodriguez stood, jaw set firmly. How many ships? 23 vessels of varying classes. They appear to have called in reinforcements. Before anyone could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Warning klaxons blared as emergency lights bathed the room in red. Multiple quantum ruptures detected, Araya announced. Vrax vessels emerging. They found us. Rodriguez and her officers rushed to the bridge. The main viewer showed 5 Vrax warships materializing from quantum space, their predatory forms silhouetted against the star-filled backdrop. How did they find us so quickly? O'Neill demanded. Chen's fingers flew over his console. They're using our quantum wake like breadcrumbs. Our jump left a unique signature they can track. Something about how we shattered their quantum lock. Tactical analysis, Rodriguez ordered, settling into her command chair. Lieutenant Paddle responded instantly. 5 ships, Captain. 3 destroyers, 2 cruisers, all heavily armed. Their weapons are powered up, and... He paused, frowning. They're not firing. The communication system crackled to life. A different Vrax commander appeared on screen, its scales shifting from iridescent blue to deep purple. Human vessel, it said, the translator struggling with its complex tonal language. You have demonstrated unexpected capabilities. The Imperium offers you a choice. Surrender now and share your quantum drive technology, or be destroyed. There will be no second chance. Rodriguez glanced at O'Neill, a silent understanding passing between them. The Vracs didn't just want to punish them. They wanted humanity's technology, which meant they feared it. Helm, plot a course through the Hercules Nebula. Rodriguez ordered quietly. Lieutenant Patel, ready the modified shield harmonics we discussed. To the Vracs commander, she spoke clearly and confidently. This is Captain Rodriguez. We appreciate your offer, but we must decline. Humanity doesn't respond well to threats. The Vracs commander's tentacles writhed in what might have been amusement. Then you choose extinction. Fire. Energy beams lanced out from all 5 Vracs ships simultaneously, only to splash harmlessly against the Curiosity's shields. The bridge crew allowed themselves small smiles. Chen's modifications, based on their analysis of Vracs weapons technology, had worked perfectly. Their weapons are calibrated for standard shield frequencies, Chen explained, unable to hide his satisfaction. They never considered we'd adapt so quickly. Return fire, Patel asked hopefully. Rodriguez shook her head. No, let them waste their energy. Helm, take us into the nebula full speed. Let's show them what else humanity's primitive technology can do. The Curiosity accelerated toward the massive gas cloud ahead, its fusion drives pushing it to speeds the Vracs ships couldn't match. Behind them, the alien vessels gave chase, continuing to fire ineffectively. They're pursuing, but their larger ships are falling behind, O'Neill reported. The nebula's interference will blind their quantum sensors. They'll have to track us the old-fashioned way. Rodriguez smiled grimly. And that's exactly what we want, because while they're chasing us, she turned to Chen. How long until the probe is ready? The scientist checked his readings. Another hour. Once deployed, it will gather all the data we need about their quantum lock technology. If my theory is correct, we're not just going to escape the Vracs. We're going to change the balance of power in this sector of space. As the Curiosity plunged into the nebula's swirling gases, Rodriguez watched the pursuing Vracs ships on the tactical display. They had started this hunt thinking humans were primitive, easy prey. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. The next few hours would prove crucial. The Curiosity wasn't just running. They were leading the Vracs into a trap of their own making. Humanity's first interstellar conflict was about to become a masterclass in turning an enemy's strength into their greatest weakness. The Hercules Nebula's swirling gases cast an eerie violet glow across the Curiosity's bridge. They had been playing cat and mouse with the Vracs fleet for 6 hours, using the nebula's natural interference to stay just beyond their pursuers' reach. But time was running out. Probe analysis complete, Dr. Chen announced, his tired features illuminated by his holographic display. The entire bridge crew turned to listen. They'd all been waiting for this moment. The Vracs quantum lock technology isn't just a weapon, Chen explained, bringing up a complex diagram. It's the foundation of their entire civilization. They use it for everything. Propulsion, communications, weapons targeting. It's elegant, but it has one critical flaw. Captain Rodriguez leaned forward. The same flaw we accidentally exploited during our escape. Exactly. Their quantum field generators operate on a fixed frequency pattern. They never vary it because they never needed to, until they met us. Chen's eyes gleamed with excitement. Our quantum drive uses a randomized frequency algorithm. When we jumped, it created a cascade of quantum irregularities that their systems couldn't handle. Can we weaponize that? O'Neill asked, voicing what everyone was thinking. Before Chen could answer, Lieutenant Patel called out from tactical. Multiple contacts. They're trying to box us in. The main viewer showed Vracs ships emerging from the nebula's gases all around them. Not just the 5 that had been chasing them, but the full fleet of 23 vessels. They had used the Curiosity's own strategy against them, hiding in the nebula until they could spring their trap. "Shields at maximum," Rodriguez ordered calmly. "Dr. Chen, I need options." Chen's fingers flew over his console. The probe gathered enough data. "We can modify our quantum drive to emit a targeted pulse. It would disrupt their quantum lock systems across a wide area." But he hesitated. "But what?" "It would burn out our drive. We'd be stranded." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Without their quantum drive, they'd have no way to return to Earth space. They'd be trapped in uncharted territory, surrounded by a hostile alien empire. The comm system crackled. The Vrax fleet commander appeared on screen, its scales now a deep crimson. "Your chase ends here, humans. You have impressed us with your resourcefulness, but now you face the full might of the Imperium. Surrender, and your deaths will be quick." Rodriguez stood from her command chair, straightening her uniform. "You know what I've noticed about the Vrax?" she asked, seemingly addressing her crew but keeping her eyes on the alien commander. "They talk about might, about power, about their technological superiority. But they don't understand the one thing that makes humanity truly dangerous." She turned to Chen. "Modify the drive. But first, send a tight beam transmission to Earth with everything we've learned about Vrax technology. Encrypt it with Protocol 0. They'll detect the transmission," O'Neill warned. "Count on it." Rodriguez smiled. "Lieutenant Patel, target their largest vessel with everything we've got. The moment they detect our transmission, they'll focus all their attention on stopping it. That's when we'll spring our trap." The Vrax commander's tentacles writhed in fury. "Whatever you're planning, it will fail. You are surrounded, outnumbered, and outgunned. You still don't get it, do you?" Rodriguez addressed the commander directly now. "Humanity doesn't need to be the strongest or the most numerous or the most advanced. We just need to be the most adaptable. Begin transmission." The next few minutes were chaos. The moment the Curiosity began its transmission, the Vrax fleet opened fire with everything they had. Energy beams and quantum torpedoes filled space around the human vessel. Its shields, still modified to resist Vrax weapons, held, but barely. "Transmission at 60%, Chen reported. "They're trying to jam us." "Hold position," Rodriguez ordered. "Wait for my mark." Shields failing. 80% transmitted. The ship shuddered violently as direct hits began to penetrate their defenses. Damage reports flooded in from all decks. "Transmission complete," Chen announced. Rodriguez's voice cut through the chaos. "Now, initiate quantum pulse." What happened next would be remembered in human history as the Hercules flash. The Curiosity's quantum drive, modified far beyond its original specifications, released a massive pulse of energy that spread through the nebula like a shockwave. When it hit the Vrax ships, their quantum lock systems didn't just fail, they reversed. 23 of the most powerful warships in the Vrax Imperium suddenly found their quantum fields turning inward. Weapons stopped firing. Engines failed. Communications went dark. The mighty fleet hung motionless in space, their own technology now their prison. On the Curiosity's bridge, emergency lights flickered as the last of their power reserves drained away. The quantum drive was indeed burnt out, leaving them stranded, but not helpless. "Status of the Vrax fleet?" Rodriguez asked. "Complete shutdown," Paddle reported with satisfaction. "They're dead in space. Their quantum lock systems are frozen in a recursive loop. They won't be able to restore power without completely rebuilding their core systems." Rodriguez nodded. "Send a message to the fleet commander. Tell them we'll accept their surrender now." As her crew carried out their orders, Rodriguez gazed out at the disabled Vrax fleet. They had gambled everything on this encounter, and humanity had emerged victorious not through superior firepower or numbers, but through innovation and adaptability. But this victory was just the beginning. The transmission to Earth hadn't just contained technical data. It had included a warning. The galaxy was more dangerous than humanity had imagined, but also more vulnerable. The Vracs weren't invincible, and now Earth knew exactly how to fight them. The real war was about to begin. The hours following the Hercules flash were tense. The UES Curiosity hung motionless in space, its quantum drive burnt out, surrounded by the paralyzed vessels of the Vracs fleet. Captain Rodriguez and her crew worked tirelessly to restore what systems they could, knowing they were now stranded far from Earth space. Status report. Rodriguez called out, making her rounds on the bridge. The emergency lighting had given way to normal illumination, but many systems remained offline. Conventional drives at 60% capacity, O'Neill reported. Life support stable. Communications limited but functional, but without the quantum drive. She left the implications hanging. At maximum conventional speed, it would take us 3 years to reach Earth space, Chen added quietly. And that's assuming we could avoid the Vracs Empire's territory. Rodriguez was about to respond when Lieutenant Puddle straightened at his tactical station. Captain, detecting multiple ships entering the system. Not Vracs configurations. I've never seen anything like these. On screen, Rodriguez ordered, tensing for another fight they might not be able to win. The main viewer showed 3 vessels approaching their position. Unlike the aggressive, predatory design of Vracs ships, these were elegant, almost organic in appearance. They moved with a fluid grace that suggested incredibly advanced propulsion systems. "They're hailing us," Pidal announced, surprise evident in his voice. The viewer shifted to show the bridge of the lead alien vessel. The being that appeared was distinctly different from the Vracs. Tall, willowy, with phosphorescent skin that seemed to pulse with inner light. When it spoke, its voice was melodic, the universal translator rendering it in perfect clarity. "Greetings, warriors of Earth. I am Ambassador Lyra of the Ceteran Collective. We have been watching your encounter with great interest." Rodriguez exchanged glances with her officers before responding. "This is Captain Maya Rodriguez of the UES Curiosity. I must admit, we weren't aware we had an audience." The alien's skin pulsed with what might have been amusement. "Few are aware of us. We have spent centuries observing the Vracs Imperium's expansion, watching as they conquered and subjugated species across this sector. Never before has anyone managed to defeat them so elegantly. We had little choice," Rodriguez replied diplomatically. "Our survival required innovation." "Indeed." Lyra's expression became serious. "And that is precisely why we have revealed ourselves. The Ceteran Collective has long sought a way to counter Vracs aggression, but our philosophy of nonviolence prevented direct confrontation. You, however, have demonstrated a third path, victory through ingenuity rather than brute force." Chen spoke up from his station. "Ambassador, your ships, the energy readings we're detecting suggest technology far beyond even the Vracs. You could have stopped them at any time." "Perhaps," Lyra acknowledged, "but at what cost? The Vracs understand only dominance. Had we defeated them through superior firepower, we would have merely replaced one tyranny with another. You humans have shown them something far more devastating, the failure of their perceived supremacy." "A philosophical victory," O'Neill mused. "But we're still stranded here, and once the Vracs restore their systems—" "That is why we have come," Lyra interrupted smoothly. "We propose an alliance. Your ingenuity combined with our technology could fundamentally reshape this sector of space. We can begin by repairing your vessel, including improvements to prevent the Vracs from tracking you in quantum space." Rodriguez studied the alien ambassador carefully. "A generous offer, but why help us? Earth is new to interstellar politics. We have little to offer in return." Lyra's skin rippled with patterns of light that the translator didn't attempt to interpret. "You underestimate yourselves, Captain. In one encounter, you have done what we could not in centuries: prove the Vracs are not invincible. More importantly, you did so without destruction or loss of life. The galaxy needs this balance of innovation and restraint." Before Rodriguez could respond, Patel called out urgently, "Captain, power fluctuations detected in the Vracs fleet." They're beginning to restore their systems. Your decision must be made quickly, Captain. Lyra pressed. The Vracs will not be disabled forever, and their retaliation will be severe. Rodriguez looked around her bridge, at the crew that had already survived impossible odds. They had left Earth seeking first contact, hoping to expand humanity's understanding of the galaxy. Instead, they had stumbled into an interstellar Cold War and somehow managed to change its course. Ambassador Lyra, Rodriguez said firmly, the Earth Alliance would be honored to accept your assistance and proposal of alliance. But we need to deal with our current situation first. The ambassador's skin glowed brighter. Already in progress. Captain, watch. On the tactical display, the 3 Ceteran vessels moved into formation around the Curiosity. Energy fields unlike anything the humans had ever seen enveloped both their ship and the disabled Vracs fleet. We will transport your vessel to our hidden facility, Lyra explained. The Vracs ships will be relocated to the edge of their territory, without their quantum lock technology. Let them experience the limitations they sought to impose on others. As the Ceteran energy field encompassed them, Rodriguez felt a profound sense of change. Humanity had not only survived its first interstellar conflict, but had gained powerful allies in the process. The galaxy was about to discover that Earth's greatest weapon wasn't its technology or its ships. It was its ability to find a better way. The real question now was, how would the Vracs Imperium respond to this unprecedented defeat? And what role would humanity play in the coming reformation of galactic society? 3 months after the Hercules Flash incident, the UES Curiosity emerged from a Ceteran quantum tunnel near Earth, escorted by Ambassador Lyra's ships. The vessel barely resembled its former self. Ceteran upgrades had transformed it into a hybrid of human innovation and alien technology, a symbol of the unprecedented alliance that was about to reshape galactic politics. Captain Rodriguez stood on her bridge, watching Earth grow larger on the main viewer. The familiar blue marble brought a lump to her throat. There had been times during their ordeal when she doubted they'd ever see home again. Multiple vessels approaching, Paddle reported. Earth Defense Fleet. They're broadcasting welcome messages, and a lot of questions. I imagine they have quite a few, Rodriguez smiled. The Curiosity's emergency transmission about the Vracs had reached Earth months ago, preparing humanity for the reality of hostile alien civilizations. But no one had expected them to return with advanced allies and revolutionary technology. Captain, Chen called out from his station. You'll want to see this. He brought up a galactic newsfeed on the main viewer, one of many sources they now had access to thanks to Ceteran technology. The headlines scrolled past in multiple languages, all automatically translated. Vracs Imperium in crisis. Multiple systems declare independence. Quantum lock technology failures spread. Mysterious human victory inspires rebellion. The ripple effect of our encounter has been substantial, Ambassador Lyra observed from her position on the bridge. The Ceteran had insisted on being present for their return to Earth. The Vracs built their empire on the assumption of technological supremacy. You showed the galaxy that innovation and adaptability matter more than raw power. And now everyone wants to know how we did it, O'Neill added. The diplomatic requests have been pouring in since we entered known space. Every species that's suffered under Vracs' dominion wants an alliance with Earth. Rodriguez turned to Lyra. They may be disappointed to learn we're not actually a major military power. The ambassador's skin pulsed with familiar patterns of amusement. You misunderstand, Captain. They don't want your weapons or your fleets. They want your perspective. The Vracs convinced the galaxy that progress was linear, that technological advancement could only follow their ordained path. You proved that wrong. Multiple ships decloaking, Patil suddenly announced. Vracs signatures. But something's different. The viewer showed 5 Vracs vessels materializing near the Earth fleet. Their designs were familiar but modified, lacking the aggressive edges and weapon arrays of their military counterparts. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Paddle reported. It's the Vracs Reformation Council. A Vrax appeared on screen, but unlike any they'd encountered before. Its scales were a calm blue, and its posture conveyed diplomacy rather than dominance. "Greetings, people of Earth. I am Speaker Venn of the Reformation Council. We come seeking dialogue." Rodriguez exchanged glances with Lyra, who nodded encouragingly. "This is Captain Rodriguez of the UES Curiosity. We're listening." "The defeat of our fleet could have been the prelude to war," Venn began. "Instead, you showed mercy. You disabled rather than destroyed. You sought to teach rather than punish. This is not how superior species behave. This is how wise ones do." The speaker's tentacles moved in what they now recognized as a gesture of respect. "The Imperium is changing. Many of our people have long disagreed with policies of technological supremacy and military dominance, but we lack the influence to effect change. Your victory provided that opportunity." "A revolution without weapons," Lyra observed. "Precisely as we hoped." "We propose a summit," Venn continued, "not just with Earth, but with all spacefaring species in this sector. The time of Vrax supremacy is over. Let us build something better together." As Rodriguez prepared to respond, she felt the weight of the moment. Her crew had left Earth seeking first contact and knowledge. Instead, they had sparked a peaceful revolution that would reshape galactic society, not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through humanity's greatest strengths: innovation, adaptability, and the wisdom to know that true victory doesn't require destruction. "Speaker Venn," she said finally, "Earth would be honored to host this summit. Let this be the beginning of a new era, not one of dominance and competition, but of cooperation and shared progress." As the communications continued and arrangements were made, Rodriguez looked around her bridge. Her crew, the hybrid ship they now commanded, the alien allies they'd made. It was all proof that humanity's place in the galaxy would not be determined by the size of its fleet or the power of its weapons, but by the strength of its ideas and the wisdom to use them well. The Vrax had made a crucial mistake in attacking the human ship, not because they had awakened a sleeping giant or provoked a military superpower, but because they had failed to understand that true strength lies not in dominance, but in the ability to adapt, innovate, and rise above the cycle of violence. As Earth grew larger in their view, Rodriguez knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity had proven itself not just ready for the challenges of a wider galaxy, but capable of transforming them into opportunities for progress. The stars had never seemed brighter, or the future more promising. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly as it should be.